What's going on, everyone? It's Michael Burns with One Mic Out, and it's been a hot minute since I've been on here. Um, Man, a lot has gone on. Obviously, I say that every single time because that's the truth. So much happens, and again, when you think that things can't get any stranger, they get stranger. Uh, I don't know how long this one's going to go today. It might go short, it might go long, but holy shit. Um, so, as we know, Elon Musk bought Twitter, finally finalized that deal. We got midterms coming up November 8th, and that's a huge deal. And you got politics in full freaking motion right now, and they're stoking those engines up with all as much coal as they can to get full steam ahead in the lies department. Politics, you can never truly trust it because it's politics. Got Nancy Pelosi's husband getting attacked. Another crazy one. Um, and you got women's rights and all that kind of stuff be coming up in arms again, and then actually some women are pun intended, and quotes growing some balls. I mean that hypothetically. In pushing back against trans women, women, men transitioning to women, and saying, no, 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 you're still a man. I'm a woman. I'm fighting for my rights because I'm a woman. I'm not a fabricated woman, a man claiming to be a woman. I was born this way. This is who I am, and I'm fighting for my rights. So a lot going on. It's just crazy. But one thing I want to talk about is that so many people out there, and when we talk about when we talk about like the advertising, we talk about for example, you want a new truck, or you want a new vehicle, but you might have one out in the driveway that works perfect, does everything you need it to do, does everything you intended it for it to do, and you have no issues with it. But then you see an ad for a new truck that has this one new feature on it that you want. You just can't live without that new feature that it has, whatever it is. And now all of a sudden you can't stop thinking about it. And now all of a sudden you go out and you make a poor financial decision and purchase that vehicle. And now you're stuck with a payment each month that you didn't intend to ever have. And now especially in this economy and where we're at today, with how much more things are and more expensive they are, you're paying what 5-10 years ago maybe would have been a 200 plus or maybe into the 300s payment. Now you're looking at a 6, 7, 8, 9, sometimes as much as your mortgage, over $1,000 payment for a vehicle that you truly don't need. But they got you with the advertising. They got you because they know that they can manipulate you. And here you were fine all the way up to that point until you saw that advertisement, and then all of a sudden you had to have it. You just had to have it. And that's the same thing with politics. Look where we're at right now. We are in a state of borderline depression era, economic failure, with inflation the highest it's ever been, with fuel prices skyrocketing, and they've come down a little bit, but they're still over $1.50 more than what the national average was when Trump was in office and when he left office and when Biden took office. You're looking, housing market skyrocket, rent, everything else is so crazy, and we all know why, because there's failed policies and failed execution of those policies that the current administration has failed at, and now we have to deal with the outcome of all that, which we're the ones who bear that burden. So now the lies are going to be spewed now, by the left. They're going to be spewing, saying, now they're coming out. Biden came out and said if gas is $5 a gallon that I inherited, and look whatever it's at today. It's at national average 380 or something like that. No, the national average when Trump left office and when Biden took office was $2.39 a gallon. That's what the national average was. It's obviously, we know it skyrocketed. Everyone was bitching about it. Everyone's been bitching about it for the last year and a half of how expensive gas and the cost of living is. And they're trying to pull the wool over your eyes by saying, no, 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 we inherited this. It was that bad before. Remember, remember, remember. Lies. They're politicians. They're fighting for their job because the job that they've been given has enabled them to become millionaires, to become part of the 1%. The Democrats, with Elon taking over Twitter, they're trying to say these billionaires can't have this much power, while they're getting endorsed by the Soroses and the Bill Gateses of the world and the Soros. They're getting it's so comical, but the problem is so many people out there who are so gullible that they'll believe it because they find comfort in believing a lie instead of the discomfort of believing the truth, the harsh truth. And that is the harsh truth of it, is those lies, they'll throw them out. And they're just seeing where they stick. Those wolves are throwing those lies out, and they're going to see where they stick. And hopefully those lies will persuade enough voters to keep their jobs and to stay in office. When look at the horrible thing, the horrible job they've been doing for the last X amount of years. And the issue with it is we are such a stimulated, we feed off being stimulated. Americans do. We need some sort of stimulant, whether it's a like on an Instagram page or whether it's some sort of a drug that you take or something, something that you need, and some sort of attention, whatever it is. We're very stimulated creatures, and we're such a stimulated country to where you'll negate and you'll choose to forget all this horribleness that's been happening to you. And like a dog being beaten, you get beaten, and then all of a sudden they give us one little treat and you're like, okay, I love you. Oh, you're my best friend. I can't believe how much I have this love for you. That's how politicians treat we, the people, we Americans. They'll fucking destroy the country for 2 years and then try and make you believe that it wasn't them. It's not their fault. This is just how it happened. It was price gouging at the pump, the oil companies. It was Putin. It was whatever. When in reality, look at the failed policies. Day one, they cut the Keystone Pipeline, which would have enabled us to have our own organic, self-sufficient energy. And, they want you to believe these lies. All you have to do is watch Biden speak, and that holy shit. Watch Kamala speak, and you're like, holy shit. Everyone's making fun of it. That's why you don't see as much pride from the left in Biden as you saw from the right in Trump, because Trump, being a billionaire, couldn't be persuaded and at least got stuff done. Yeah, when he spoke, I hated when he spoke, but because he, did this thing, he talked. He sounded like an idiot at times, but he got shit done. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit about a meme or a tweet that he puts out or anything? You had more money in your pocket. You had lower gas prices, fuel prices. Rent was down. I mean, everything, cost of living was just down. Remember, you had gas that was in the dollar range. Remember. And then this shit show happens, and now look, we're all struggling. Your everyday hourly wage is becoming less and less each day with this administration and with the left running things. But they don't want you to believe that. They want you to know that. So they're going to throw lies at you to try and deter you, manipulate you into believing it's the other guy. The wolves, they'll throw the lies out, and again, they'll hope that they stick to enough voters to where they show up and vote the way that they feel at that time. But that's, these politicians, they become millionaires. They enter office, they become millionaires, and they become part of that 1%. So, my thing has always been abolish income tax. You really want to show the people that you care and you give a shit, abolish income tax. It was never supposed to be a permanent thing. It became a permanent thing because they got that taste of that cheddar, and now we're stuck with it right now. Abolish that. Who cares? We don't care about, the billionaires don't pay their fair share of taxes. We don't give a shit, because that accounts for less than, honestly, a percentage of the our national debt. If you had them paying 50% tax, it still would, our spending is so ridiculous as a nation that wouldn't put a dent in it. It wouldn't even register. So my thing is, what would register in your bank account right now immediately? Not paying income tax, not paying federal income tax. Pay state income. Who gives a shit? If your state has income tax, you don't have a lottery or anything like that, pay it. But federal income tax is bullshit. Now, a lot of people would be like, well, then how would this and how would that? There's a lot of spendings that could be cut. That a lot of shit that we're spending $80 billion to Ukraine, and you're finding things in these bills that are meant to go towards other things that had nothing to do with that bill. There's some fat that can be trimmed. There's some fat that can be taken and cut. So, the argument of, oh, that would just destroy the economy is bullshit. There's enough money coming in. They could just cut the spending. It's called budgeting. Um, but that's how gullible people are. They want to believe the lie because, again, they find comfort in the lie rather than discomfort in the truth. So we've been lied to for the last 2 years. But anyway, enough of that. You got, again, going after the votes and things like that. What happened to Paul Pelosi? So Nancy's husband, I think his first name's Paul, 82 years old, gets a DUI or gets arrested for DUI, but of course, he's Nancy Pelosi's husband, so he gets let off a few months back. Not looking good for him. Gets attacked apparently last night. Apparently, some 42-year-old dude broke into their compound that has security cameras, gated, all that kind of stuff, with a hammer. He came in, and the intended target was Nancy, but she wasn't home. But Paul was there. 42-year-old man isn't able to dispatch an 82-year-old man, attacks him, and there's cameras, and it was just with a hammer. I'm sure it's going to get twisted, but for some reason, Juicy Smollett, Smollett, whatever the hell his name is going, ooh, I'm not the only one. That's all I'll say about that. They're going to try their best to put these lies out there. And I'm not saying that didn't happen. I'm not saying, but with Maxine, or with her getting let off, or not let off, but without us seeing a pedophile list of who those kids were going to, Maxine Walter, if the election, when we're seeing ballots, in Chicago last week or earlier this week, there were CCTVs showing people just dumping ballots into these drop boxes that they have. There's so much fraud going on, and they're pulling it over your eyes with the vaccine and the COVID and all that kind of stuff. The lies that were told, that they were forcing you, telling you were a conspiracy theorist, or that you were an extremist if you didn't believe what they were telling you, and discriminating against you if you were being a free thinker and thinking for yourself. Don't sit there and take that one, and go, oh yeah, that did happen. Question it. I do. Did it really happen? Was it planned? Maybe. So who knows? And maybe it's all to save face, people. If you watch enough wrestling in your life, you see bad guys and good guys switch places all the time. Because why? They're trying to get a pop from the crowd, because they know the crowd will react to them and what they're doing, and they'll all of a sudden become the world's best person and face of the hero, or they can turn them all in the and become a bad guy and get everyone hating them just like that. So don't believe you're right off the bat that that's exactly what happened. I would question it. There's a lot of crazy stuff that's happened, a lot of weird shit that's gone on in the last few years. I wouldn't just believe that one right away. But, and now you have Elon buying Twitter, and the liberals are losing their collective minds, and it's amazing to watch. The gnashing of teeth and the pulling of hair of everything that is happening with that right now. And it's feeding me right now, because I've hopped back on Twitter just to troll people and to just watch the crying, and people saying, I'm not going to leave. I'm going to stay here. Good. Stay. People saying, if he's all for free speech, then let's see if he reacts to fuck Twitter and fuck Trump and blah, 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 and fuck Elon, and see if he blocks me and blah, blah, blah. He won't. What he is doing is he is literally stated, like, the country and the world too is so politically divided, to where you have this camp over here, left camp, and a right camp over there. There's no virtual digital town square for people to literally to come together and have some actual constructive conversations with one another about why they believe or support certain things, versus why they don't. And right now, people are just going so far left and so far right, and it was causing so much division that he wants to do away with that. And now the libs are getting a little taste of their own medicine in terms of everyone who got shadow banned and was getting, had accounts suspended and things like that, are now being let back on. Because, a lot of people, there was a lot of unjust stuff going on in terms of who was getting shadow banned and who wasn't. A lot of evil stuff. A lot of liberals said some evil stuff and were left on there, left alone. And so the algorithms and all those things will get exposed. And that's all he wanted to do, because he feels like Twitter was probably the biggest platform that people have been sharing all that kind of information on over the years. And so that was probably the most important one, or the biggest one he could go after. And so it's not a bad thing, people. You might be pissed off because you have to deal with mean tweets and stuff like that again. But would you rather deal with, having no money in your bank account because of cost of living, all because of pride and ego, and you needed to be right, I don't know. Like it's really unbecoming. It's really odd to me that there's people out there in the country who would rather see other people suffer, including themselves, just so that they could be right in a virtual argument that literally means dick, than actually have a brain on their, inside their head and a head on their shoulders, and have some fucking common sense and some logic to go, wow, maybe we were wrong about this guy. Maybe he wasn't the best choice. Maybe these policies aren't right because, wow, I don't have money in my bank account. I have a hard time feeding my family or feeding myself or living the lifestyle I want to live. But like, you got to ask those things. Was it that bad? I would like to know, was it really that bad before when Trump was running things? Like, was it? How did it affect you in a negative way other than hurt your feelings on social media because it wasn't your team in office? It wasn't your team, who winning, like, really? That's where you get, so you wake up every day to live that life. That's a horrible life. That sucks. Waking up every day just to check it and to see, rather than actually going out and just doing shit and enjoying life, because you only get one. You want to throw those years away just because, oh, the guy that I wanted because the media told me that he was bad, and now I believe that, is in office. Remember, we're pawns. We're the ones that get them there. We're like the shitty water that's helping those boats float across to get to where they need to go, and then, once they get there, they don't purify us. Like, that's shit water. Get rid of that water. That's what we are. We just carry. We're the vessel carrier. We get these shit bags in the office, and then they make their millions off us, by throwing lies to us, because lies sell, lies make money, and that's all they're about. They're in the business of selling lies. So don't, question things, continue to question. Don't believe everything you hear in the media, left or right. There's always ulterior motives. So, have a head on your shoulders, practice some fucking common sense, be logical. Take a step back and emotionally remove yourself from the situation and ask the right questions. Again, my big thing right now, do away with income tax. I don't care who you are, what branch, what political party you're with. I'm not affiliated with any. I'm unregistered. I guess some would call that independent. I don't give a shit. I'm just an American. That's all I care about. Whatever's going to give me the most bang for my buck, what's going to give me a better life for myself and my family. And that's all I care about. What's in retirement, what's going to help us get us there. And both parties are definitely guilty of fucking things up royally in a lot of those regards. But right now it's the lesser of two evils. Did you have more money in your pocket when Trump was in office versus now? And that should really only be your only question right now. And if it was with the other guy, then that's the way your vote should go. Not because you want to win a fucking digital virtual argument, So anyway, those are just my tidbits for today. Went a little bit longer, but once again, I'm Michael with one mic out. It's been a little bit. I'm glad to be back. Roll Tide, and hit the like, subscribe, whatever platform you're watching this on, and I'll see you with the next one. But anyway, y'all stay safe out there, and keep that head on a swivel as always. All right, we'll see ya.